All right, guys, we're going to look at a couple more of these problems dealing with PEMDAS and order of operations. Really now with more levels of solving and um, with also looking at some that have brackets. Because brackets are different, and I won't say they're different, but they're kind of a twist that they can throw at you, and they're definitely something that you need to be aware of. So if they want to make things look a little bit more confusing, they could throw some with brackets at you. So we're going to look at a couple with brackets and then a couple without. This particular problem does not have any brackets, but it does have a set of parentheses. So we need to look at that and we need to understand how to solve that, especially ones that have now multiple levels. And when I say multiple levels of solving, it means we're going to be working further down underneath it until we finally get that final answer. So as I'm solving these, again, I'm going to keep kind of in the back of my mind what PEMDAS is, and as I'm writing this out, I'm keeping in the back of my mind how to solve these problems correctly. So again, if you've watched some of my videos, I'm kind of doing this as a strategy off to the side. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, but I'm keeping the multiplication and division as equals. I'm keeping the addition and subtraction as equals, but I'm also in the back of my mind thinking left to right. So let's start here on this problem. So this is 5 times, open parentheses, 3 plus 1 plus 2, close parentheses. So when I look at this problem, I'm going to be thinking, all right, what comes first? Well, I definitely see a set of parentheses, so I know that's coming first, but there's a couple operations in it. This is kind of one of those times where I have kids taking shortcuts and trying to do like really fast math here. I would go a step at a time. And I know it's pretty basic, but always go a step at a time because you never know when they're going to give you a solved problem on the STAR test and maybe they've made like an error in it. And if you're that kid and you always take shortcuts on your problems, that's going to come back to get you. So watch for that. That's something to keep in the back of your mind. So this problem, I'm going to go to the 3 plus 1 first, solve it, but I'm going to keep the parentheses because when I'm dropping this down, I'm dropping everything that I haven't used. Technically, I haven't finished the parentheses yet because the 3 plus 1 came first. Now, still in parentheses is 4 plus 2. I'm going to take that down next, but I'm not going to write the set of parentheses. And the reason is because I've solved it. It's over and done with. Okay, so 5 times 6 is the last thing. That gives me 30. That's a pretty easy problem. Not too bad there. There's my Dorito chip. All right, next problem. You're looking at 10 plus, open parentheses, 25 minus 10, close parentheses, divided by 5. So as I'm thinking about this is going through my mind here. And I'm thinking, all right, here we go. I've got a set of parentheses. That's pretty simple. 25 minus 10 is going to take me to 15. That completes my parentheses, so that's going to drop down everything else. I'm good to go here. Now I'm looking at a set of equals. So I'm looking at addition and subtraction. Since they are equal, I've got to really think about my left to right. So my left to right tells me 10 plus 15 comes first. 10 plus 15 is going to be 25. Divided by 5 is going to be our last step. That's a simple math fact. Pretty simple stuff. Okay, this third problem is one that we're seeing a set of brackets. And again, brackets are used, and I said it earlier to throw you off. They're not trying to throw you off. I mean, you're going to see brackets for a long time now when it comes to these problems. I think they are, when they put that on a test for a 5th grade student, it's just kind of that extra like, okay, let's see what we can do here to make this problem harder for you, which if you understand PEMDAS, you understand that parentheses and brackets are essentially the same thing. You just have to truly know how to solve them. And so I'm gonna go through this problem with you here. When I write my strategy this time, I might write it like that because parentheses and brackets are really the same. And when you're looking at this problem, you're really going to have to stop and think about, okay, did I finish my parentheses? Did I finish my bracket before I go on to the next level? So here we go. In this particular problem, I've got 4 times open bracket, open parentheses, 6 minus 4, close parentheses, plus open parentheses, 7 minus 3, close parentheses, close bracket. We got a mouthful there. So that part right there is, in my opinion, when I say that they're trying to fool you, they're just giving you some extra stuff to think about. Don't be fooled by that. Go slow. So one of the things about brackets is when you see brackets, they're like parentheses. You've got to complete everything in that set of brackets before you go off and do anything else. So a lot of times I might kind of quiz my students and I might say, okay, well, hey, what do you think is going to be the last thing that we do? And it's almost kind of making them think, okay, well, what's the last step here? Well, if you know anything about brackets, especially in this problem, you got a lot happening inside the brackets. The times 4 that's actually the first, that's probably going to be the last thing that you do because everything else is in brackets. Those brackets are going to have to be completed first before you do anything outside of the brackets. So let's look at this one. So I'm going to start in the brackets. And since I have 2 sets of parentheses, I'm going to put little check marks above both of them. Since I have 2 sets of parentheses, I'm going to treat that as, okay, they're equals. Let's go from left to right. So I'm going to start with 6 minus 4 first, and I'm going to pull out that answer. As I write underneath, though, watch how I do this. The brackets are not finished, so I want to keep the brackets. In fact, I can go ahead and just put brackets on either end. The 6 minus 4 is finished, though. So I'm going to drop the plus. I'm going to keep the 7 minus 3 in parentheses, because I haven't done that yet. And then I've got my times 4 out to the side. And then I keep working. And then I look at this and I go, okay, well, hey, I see a set of parentheses. That set of parentheses is not solved. 7 minus 3 is going to give me 4. But then my brackets are going to fall. My 2 falls, my plus sign falls, and then my times 4 falls down. And then I go back to work. Okay, still got brackets. My brackets aren't finished yet. They're almost finished once I solve this. So 2 plus 4 is going to take me to 6. Okay, my brackets are done. So I'm now just going to simply end it with the 4 and the times, which takes me to a math fact of 24. And I've got this thing done. What kids want to do, though, probably somewhere in this area, I'm going to kind of circle here in red. What kids will want to do is they'll want to solve that mentally in their head. And I'm not saying it can't be done, but you probably don't want to do that. You still want to show all these levels of you solving your problem because that's a good way it could show up on your test. So make sure that you take your time and you do it step by step. All right, this next problem is 5 times open bracket, open parenthesis, 26 minus 4, close parenthesis, minus open parenthesis, 4 plus 6, close parenthesis, close bracket. All right, so again, out to the side, I'm going to have my little notes here just to help me through it. Again, this would be good thinking when you solve these. And eventually you're going to get so good at this you won't have to do it, but at the beginning it might be really good. So I'm going to start looking at my brackets first. I want to take it, I've got, again, this problem kind of reminds me of the last one. I've got 2 sets, so I'm going to go from left to right. I'm going to start with this first set of parentheses. 26 minus 4 is going to take me to 22. I'm going to drop the bracket, the minus, I'm going to drop this problem, 4 plus 6 in parentheses, I'm going to keep, and then I'm going to close the bracket. The 5 and the times, it all falls down. I haven't done anything with that yet. So I'm going to keep going. I've still got a set of parentheses here. 4 plus 6 is going to give me 10. So that's going to fall. The minus falls. The 22 is going to fall. Brackets are still going to fall because I haven't finished those brackets. The 5 and the multiplication is going to fall. All right, I've got another level here. So I've got brackets, and then I've got the times 5. Well, I know brackets are still at the top of PEMDAS, so I've got to finish it. 22 minus 10. 22 minus 10 is going to take me to 12. The brackets are now finished, but my problem is not, because I have one more operation to get through. 5 times 12. 5 times 12 is going to take me to 60. I've got my Dorito chip here for me. Barely can fit it in on the page, but I've got a right answer. So now you've seen some with, with brackets and without brackets, and it's just another way to look at these problems. It's not hard. It's just you're going to have to really know what to do and when to do it. And I know I said that on the last video I made, but it's so true, because I mean that's where it gets its name. It's order of operations. You've got to know the correct order to solve these problems in, because one little mistake will get you off, and more likely if you're off, that especially on a test, that's probably going to be an answer choice as a wrong answer choice, because they're going to think like kids do, and when they make those tests and they make those answer choice questions, they're gonna come up with those same mistakes that you might. So you really have to go slow. You really have to use your PEMDAS, and it's usually these problems don't get crazy. They really want students, especially 5th grade students, to get this down. This is kind of like a basic math concept leading into some harder math concepts in years to come. That's why they want you to get this down as a 5th grader, so you're ready for it in 6th, 7th, and 8th, or maybe even in high school too. So practice this, watch these videos if you need some help. I think you'll be good at this.